But I found it really useful to see what I'd missed or what I'd placed an emphasis on which I didn't need to, or that I should place more of an emphasis on. But also like my writing style as well, reading how someone talks about the same topic but words it differently, and how that I could improve upon my own writing. There wasn't enough work like talking about the background of the organism, why we chose it, why we even looking at this as a study. You know, what is the relevance of studying this, and like looking at papers and like referencing from them, and highlighting from previous research. I thought it was really easy to comprehend, but actually I'd made it too complicated, and it was hard to understand, and I really needed to go back down to basics with it. So having people say, this doesn't make sense, you need to make it easier for someone to understand, it made me really go, actually, scrap what I've written, let's start again. So that was really useful. But also I think I'd included things I didn't need to, like surplus information that I think I didn't need to include, so that was easy. Someone saying, you don't need to say that. Sending it off, reading their comments, I looked at it God knows how many times, compared to normally when we don't get feedback. I read it, I send it off, and I get my mark. So I had a lot more, not involvement, but it was on my mind more, so I thought about it more, and I did more work on it than I probably would have done on other pieces of work, because I had so much, there was many aspects to the whole writing of it, instead of, okay, we've done the experiment, go write it, hand it in on Monday. They picked up on the same things, but then went further to really help us. So I referred to a reference, and the person said, you need to be more clear about why this actually is relevant. Whereas when the tutor revised it, made their comments, they were like, this isn't actually important. I've looked at the paper. You're not going to get any more out of this. You don't need to worry. Not to worry. You don't need to use this. But it's also being a bit more succinct about the technical language, which I think, myself and my peers don't quite pick up on as well as more of a professional. Because he knows so much more about it. So here is about the assimilation rates. Just being a bit more succinct about difference between the effect of the decomposition rate and the assimilation rate. So the rate in which something's broken down versus the rate in which nutrients are taken up by another organism, which I don't think was picked up on by my peer review. So I don't think it can be used in isolation, the peer review. However, the combination of the two I think is very useful. Because you're asked to comment on someone's work, you realise where the flaws are in your experiment as well. If you see them in the same, you see the piece of work in a different light as someone else's, you're going to be more critical of it. So when you realise you've been pretty critical of someone else's, you'll be more critical of yourself, your own work.